Good evening, this is Dawn with Watchwoman on the Wall, and I have my camera pointed to the skies as we're having some interesting weather come tonight, and we're expected to drop from the 60s all the way down to the 20s overnight, and with that we're expecting 50, 65 mile an hour winds, things like that. But I wanted to share something that it happened to me yesterday that's been weighing on me over these last 24 hours and just playing and replaying back in my mind. You know, sometimes the Lord gives you a word and it just sticks with you, stays with you, and until you share it. And I believe this is one of those things that's going to stay with me for the rest of my life until He calls us home. But yesterday morning, Saturday, December 27th, 2025, I had a very short dream, kind of at the last wait before dawn. It was more like a dialogue between me and Jesus. I couldn't see His face. I could just hear His voice as we were talking. But I told Him nothing would surprise me anymore. And I think we can all say we feel that way, even though there's a lot to come, at least on this earth. I said nothing would surprise me anymore, you know. And he replied, really? How about if I told you I'm coming back today? Now his response jolted me wide awake. And I think just that little snippet of conversation is going to stay with me, because what it revealed to me was that we think that we have seen it all. We know we've been through a lot. A lot of believers are very discouraged, and honestly, every time I get on here, I have to really pray and ask the Lord, really, do you really want me to be doing videos still? Because our human response to a delayed promise is to give up. Our human response is to grow weary and to stop hoping and to live our lives, to try to live our lives like we did before we knew all of this was coming, which I don't think is possible. I really don't. But I believe the Lord wanted to show me that He could come at any moment. My heart should stay receptive to that possibility and that likelihood as we get closer and closer into the new year. We're not even into 2026 yet, and I just, like everyone else, sense its imminency, but at the same time, you can only live so alert for so long before you start slipping back into worldly cares and just, routine. And it's okay but we just have to realize that all this can change on a dime the moment He calls us. I don't know if you noticed, but that sky is just getting pinker and pinker. That's kind of pretty. And the reason I share this, because whenever we do this, we open ourselves for ridicule for those who are hurting and tired and losing hope. We do. Every time we say, hey, wait a second, Jesus, we're basically pinning our hopes on His promises and He won't fail. But every time we do that, we make a video or whatever, go public about it, whatever discouragement people are feeling, they're going to lay it on you, because they feel that way and their feelings are strong. But you know what? We can't run on just feelings, even though we're feeling depleted sometimes. We have to run by faith. Run by faith. I read this ESV version of Habukkuk 2:3 that everybody has quoted many times, but I like the wording on it because maybe it just opens it up to a little bit more insight on waiting. It says, for still the vision awaits till its appointed time. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come and will not delay. The Lord doesn't think in human terms. I know that. We all know that now. Many of us were excited in 2020. Really expect it in 2021 and so forth. 2022, 2023, 2024. really, really looking at 2025, and I haven't given up on 2025 yet, by the way. We have some hours to go. But, our hearts were looking at that, and as each year has gone by, some have dropped off, some are not quite as excited, But you know what? I believe that the Lord gave me this dialogue to remind me that He doesn't lie, and that when it happens, it's going to be oh so quick and turn everything that we think we know on our heads. I want to read a couple more scriptures before I let you go, because this may not be profound to you, but it might be. I don't know. But 2 Corinthians 5:21 says, "For our sake He made Him," God made Him, Jesus, "to be sin who knew no sin, so that in Him we might become the righteousness of God." So often I hear you need to have this in order and do that and be ready for the rapture. And while I agree we should be prepared, our hearts should be prepared for the rapture, I believe those who are sealed and saved are His and will not be left here to experience His wrath. And I want to share Isaiah 61:10 with you. "I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My soul shall exult in my God. For He has clothed me with the garments of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decks himself like a priest with a beautiful headdress, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels." How beautiful this jewel of a verse is, really. Honestly, I've read it probably, and I just don't remember. But I was looking up scripture on our robes of righteousness that we wear, that He places on us, because when Jesus, He is who we place our trust in, we wear His robe of righteousness, and God sees Him when He sees us. I encourage you to place all your trust on Him to save you. You want His robe of righteousness on you. I love the preparation spoken of in Isaiah in that scripture. It says everything about our bridegroom and His bride, us, the church. So remember, Jesus is close. He is close. And He wants to remind us that even if we think we've got things pegged, or even if we're just absolutely certain we don't have anything pegged, that's fine. Take all that uncertainty to Him, because there's coming a moment in a time where all of those hopes will be realized. I love you. And if we're still here, Happy New Year. But if not, I'll see you soon in the air.